right, so this is a video for IXL Pre-Calculus Section P2, Write the equations of parabolas in vertex form. Okay, so the first thing that we want to notice, so vertex form is a special form, which is, oops, I didn't mean to write right there. The simplest parabola is y at y equals x squared. And this one goes up and down like that. But you're going to have parabolas that go side to side like the one right there. And that parabola is in the form. This is not the actual equation. We're going to get that we're going to get to that in a minute. But the form of that equation is to switch the two variables. For a left-right parabola, the variables are going to be x equals y squared, something, 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 something. So that's the first thing, is just to keep that in mind. Y equals x is going to be up like this. Well, let's just do one more thing. If it's y equals x squared, it's going to be up. If it's y equals negative x squared, that's going to be down like this. So up and down is y equals x. Opening up is positive, opening down is negative. And if you have x equals y squared, that's going to be opening to the right. And if you have x equals negative y squared, that's going to open up to the left. So that's the thing to keep in mind there. Now, let's move forward on this. A parabola is a set of points in a plane. They're all a fixed distance from the directrix and the focus. So right there we have the focus right there, right? And then this is the directrix. And right between, exactly between the focus and the directrix is going to be the vertex of the parabola. And why would that be? It's because for every point on the entire parabola, the distance from the focus to the directrix is the same. And that's always going to be right angle, right? So you choose the shortest distance to the directrix. So that's going to be the same. Those two are the same. Those two are the same. And you can see that if we go right down here, that means that this is going to equal that, right? So that's an important point right there, because these two distances become very important. So like with all of our conic sections, the focus, the vertex that we're dealing with, and there could be one vertex like on a parabola, or there could be two, and a circle is an ellipse with only one focus, and we call that the center of the circle, but it's really the two foci of the ellipse that have come together to make a circle. The circle is just a special form of an ellipse. But we always use h and k. So h is going to be the x. H and k may end up in different places in the parabola, but h is always x and y is always k. That's an important point. X is always h and y is always k. So if we have a left or right facing parabola, I don't know why they're starting with that one, because that's not that's not a regular parabola, the left and right facing one. So, but anyway, take a look right here. This is where I am. You can't see until I start writing. We have x equals a. This is the regular form, y minus k squared plus h. So the thing to remember, so this is a left-right opening one. In fact, it's going to open to the right, because there's no negative sign right here, otherwise there would be. And whichever dimension, the y in this case, whatever one is in this piece of the formula, you have to use the matching part of the center. Remember, the center is h comma k, which is always x comma y. So if there's a y here, that means that's the y, which means you have to put the k in there. If this was y equals a x, now what would go there? the h, because that's the x component. So x minus h squared plus k. So that's how that works. Okay, they've got another thing here. The distance from the vertex to the focus and the directrix is 1 over 4a. So let's just stop and think about that for a moment. Let me go back up here to this right here. Okay, so C right here is the distance from the vertex to the focus and the directrix. Right, that's the distance right along this line right there. So the actual distance C could be this piece, or it could be this piece. So the distance from the focus to the directrix through the vertex, in other words, that line right there, is 2c. Because C, again, C is this distance, and C is this distance. And this A right there equals this right there. C equals 1 over 4, the absolute value of A. So let's just do this real quick. If C equals 1 over 4a, what can we do? What might be a way that we would change that we would need to change it? Well, what if we want to switch the c and the a? Well, it's pretty easy. We'll multiply both sides by a, right? And then what's going to happen? These a's are going to cancel out, right? And then we're going to get a times c equals 1/4. And now we're going to divide both sides by c. And you can probably see where this is going. Divide that by c. Or let's make it more clear, times 1 over c. That's the same thing as divided by, right? So then you're going to get a equals 1 over 4c. So it works either way. C equals 1 over 4a, a equals 1 over 4c, because a times c equals 1/4. All right, so there's that. That is just about everything you need to know. Okay, now to write in vertex form, find the vertex and the directrix, then solve for the dilation factor. C is that distance, and you use c to find a, the dilation factor. Okay, so find the vertex and the directrix of this. First of all, we'll clear all that out. Okay, so find the vertex. Well, the vertex is already labeled, right? So the vertex is -1, 0. And what's the directrix? The directrix is this line right here, which is x equal, they've got it listed there for you, x equals -2. This is how we got to find these things in order to build the equation. So what is our C? Well, C is going to be the distance from the directrix to the vertex, right? So that's going to be C. And we also can find the focus easy enough, because here we can see already that C equals 1, right? So it's easy enough to find the focus, because all we have to do is go in the opposite direction from the directrix. That's from the directrix to the vertex. And we just go that same distance up this way, and now we found the focus. So if we wanted to find the focus of this, that would be 0, 0 in this case. But let's go back to our, so it opens to the right, and remember, right and left have the x over here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Right and left have the x here and the y over here, right? So what else do we know? We have the vertex is h comma k, right? The vertex, and I won't be going this tediously slow. It might be, maybe it's not tedious. Maybe you're just picking it up, and I'm not. Anyway, I'm just trying to go slow so it's real clear, right? So the vertex is -1 comma 0, h comma k. So h equals -1 and k equals 0, right? So the formula we're looking for is over here. It's I don't know why I put that in parentheses. I'll put it over here. It's x equals a y minus k, right? Because we got to use the k term for the y, squared plus h. So over here, we got our h and our k. Now the only thing we have to find is our a. And what does a equal? A equals 1 over 4 times c, right? So c is what? C is 1. That's all it is. So a equals 1/4. So the answer to this one would be, it's an x equals 1/4 y minus, what's our k? 0. So we wouldn't even have to put that in. In fact, not Delta Math, IXL might even count that wrong if you put it in. So y squared and then plus -1, which of course would end up being a -1. So the answer to this one would actually be x equals 1/4 y minus 1 would give you that parabola. So let's hit clear and go back over here. See, they solved it for us. Okay, so they were walking us through everything that I already did, but I can show you that I did it correctly. So that's fun. I get to keep my job. All right, so let's see. This graph shows a parabola and its directrix. Write the equation of the parabola in vertex form. So now we'll do some. This, how much time do I got? I got a little bit of time left. So this is an up and down, which already tells you it's going to be a y. I don't want to start with blue. I like to start with this color for some reason, which tells you it's going to be a y equals x squared, right? That's the up and down. And it's going to be a positive x squared because it's opening up. So now we got to find the vertex, which we can see right there. So the vertex is vertex is what? It's 0, -4, right? 0, -4, which means that h equals 0 and k equals -4, right? And now all we need to do is find a. So we got to find c to find a. And c is this distance right here. And you can look at that and say, well, -6 to -4, that's 2. But you can also start with the top one and subtract the bottom one. In case you have to learn how to work with points that aren't graphed nice like this too. So that's going to be -4 minus -6. That's going to equal 2, right? So c equals 2, c equals 2, and a equals 1 over 4. C equals 1 over 4 times 2 equals 1 over 8. And now we have everything we need, right? So we're going to go y equals a, 1/8, x minus, what's our h? 0, squared, plus our k, which is -4. And then we just simplify that. Y equals 1/8 x squared minus 4. And there is the answer. And we'll put it in just so we can see it together. So here we go. Y equals 1, 8, oops, not C, 8 x squared minus 4. And if you just follow that procedure right there, you'll have the whole thing down in no time at all. Just make sure you find your h and your k. Make sure you keep your h with the x and your k with the y. Make sure you have y equals x for upward facing and y equals negative x for downward facing, and x equals y for opening up to the right. I don't know. I'm actually standing here doing this like I'm in front of, like somebody can see me and nobody can. And y equals negative x x equals negative y opening to the left. And you'll be fine. Just be I can't give you a better piece of instruction for this entire section than just go very slowly and methodically. Okay, so I'm going to skip a level. This graph shows a parabola and its directrix. Write the equation. Okay, so we're just going to go look for what we know, right? And I'm going to work a little quicker now. So that's our center, and our center is 2 comma negative 2, right? 2 comma negative 2. So what do we have? We have h equals 2 and k equals negative 2, right? And now all we need to do is find a. And how do we find a? Well, we look for c. C is the distance. If we had the focus, we could find c because it would be this distance. But we have the directrix, so we can find c, and it's this distance. So if c equals what? 1, right? So a equals 1 over 4, c equals 1 over 4 times 1 equals 1/4. Okay, so now we're just going to go back and look at it, and we notice that it is a left-right parabola, and it's open to the left. So that is going to be an x equals negative y squared style parabola. So now we're just going to write the equation. It's going to look like this. X equals, what's our negative, right? Because it's opening that way. And what's our a? 1/4. Parentheses, y minus k, right? What's k? K is negative 2. So we got to do that. Squared plus h, that I need there. Plus h is 2. Now we're just going to simplify this a little bit. X equals negative 1/4 y plus 2 squared plus 2. And that would be that particular parabola right there. And we'll enter it in just so that you know that I know what I'm talking about. X equals 1/4 parentheses y plus 2 squared plus 2. Boom. What? Plus 3. You know what that means? That means all I did was read the graph wrong, which is exactly what I did. I'm such a goofball. Right there, look. X equals 2, y equals negative 3. Oh my goodness. So anyway, well, the good news is that means my example is perfectly valid. You just have to be more careful than me in looking at the graph. And who knows, maybe you've been yelling at me the entire time that I missed something. All right. So this is the graph of the parabola with its focus. 145. You know what? So I'm just going to tell you quickly. So we've got our vertex, right? So h, what does h equal? This point, doing it carefully, is 4, 0. So h equals 4, k equals 0. And then now we have, instead of the directrix, which would be right here, we have the focus. So that's going to be our c, right? So c equals 2. So a equals 1 over 4. C equals 1 over 4 times 2. 2 equals 1 over 8. And this is a left-right one, so it's going to be x equals, and it's opening to the left, so it's going to be a negative. And then our a term, 1 over 8, x equals y, and then minus k is 0, so we don't need that. And then plus h, plus 4. And that's going to be the answer to that, but I'm going to move on, and hopefully we'll get one more in here. But I think if you're just slow and methodical like that, you're going to be fine. Okay, so what's this? This graph shows us write the equation. All right, so here we go. Where is that's the vertex, right? So h equals 5 and k equals 0 and c equals what? C equals 4. So a equals 1 over 4c equals 1 over 16, right? And it opens up, so that's going to be a y equals 1/16 x x minus 5 squared, and then there's no k because that's plus 0, right? Plus 0. So that's the answer to that one. I'm going to see if I can jump another level because that was actually just the same as the other ones. Write the equation. Okay, so now we've got just characters instead of a graph. So I'll tell you, when you get this, the first thing you do is just start graphing it. The vertex is at 0, 0, and the focus is at 0, 10, right? So that if the focus, remember, is in the middle of the parabola, so this thing's got to open up like that, right? And we know h equals 0 and k equals 0. And then all we need is our c, because we can use our c to find our a, right? So c is this distance right there. And if this is, the vertex is 0, 0, and the focus is 0, 10, then c equals 10, right? So a equals 1 over 4, c equals 1 over 40. Yes, it can equal 1 over 40. So that's how that goes. Just graph it out, put the points in. You don't have to be perfectly accurate because you're going to be using the numbers themselves, right? So I'm going to clear that, and let's jump one more level. I got 5 minutes before class starts. We're up to 70. This is exactly the same as the previous one. You graph it out. The vertex is at 0, 0. The focus is at 0. This really is exactly 0, 10. Was the other one 10, 0? Oh boy, did I do the other one wrong? I might have. Anyway, 0, 0, and 0, 10. Right, so that's C, H equals 0, K equals 0. There's nothing to do there. Let's go up one. Again, just graph it out. Write the equation. That's the same question. Oh, no, that's got vertex and focus. So I'm just going to tell you one of the things you might get. You might get with the focus at 0, 10 and the directrix at 1. Let's do this. The focus is at 0, 10 and the directrix is at 0, 2. So what do we know? If that's the directrix and that's the focus, we know that the vertex is halfway between those two, right? And 10 minus 2 is 8. So there's 8 all the way from here to here. So the focus is going to be halfway between those. So the focus is going to be right here. So it's going to be 10. So the focus is going to be at 10 minus 4. The focus will be at 0, 6. So now you got your H and your K, and your C is going to be 4 right there, right? And then you can find your A. So that's 82. Let's see what we got here. Now we're in the challenge level. Okay, well, see, it's all exactly the same. Just draw it out, do the math, and you're going to be good. All right, that's it. Bye.